For example, if you are trying to romance, say, Piper, she really likes it when you are talking to other people and you want to help them out with whatever quests, lines, and problems that they have, as long as you're not asking for money for that quest to be paid off.
So Piper likes good-hearted people.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we have altruism in the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's like, just because apocalypse doesn't mean we're not going to have standards.
Boner killer.
Pro bono killer.
Just a reminder, this is a spoiler-heavy podcast. Different series that require a spoiler warning will be in the description. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Gaming Theater Podcast. Today's episode is going to be something a little different than we normally do. Well, actually, no, it's the same as what we normally do. Anyway, today's episode is going to be about Love, GTP Style, or GTP will go over our favorite dating sims and dating mechanics in video games. Now, this is an interesting topic, and so I have several guests that's going to be available with us to do this episode with us. Now, with that being said, let's introduce some of the guests. Now, once again, my name is Leo. I'm the Geek Scorpio.
This is Zombie Hand.
This is El Penguin.
The ever fabulous Moontastical.
Woo!
I am the Tomato Man.
Now, before we move on, we're going to take a trip down to the magical merch booth. So GTP has been around for almost a year at this point, and so if you ever want to, there's other stuff that's out there. In fact, over here at the Magical Merch booth, they have a couple of different things. Ironically, not merch. We're working on that. That's a project, but you can always find us over.
What?
It's a project.
We're working on
it. But you can find us out.
I want Gaming Theater merch.
What part of it's a project is it?
I'll buy a hat.
I mean, you're not answering my question, so.
I'll take a tank top.
All right, so merch is in thought process right now, but
merch needs to be talked about more often.
We're workshopping it.
Until then, you can always check us out on and keep up with us on Twitter, YouTube, which has a lot of our other videos and more video stuff that we're going to be working on throughout the rest of the year with newer projects on that. And once we get back to it, maybe we'll be doing some more Twitch streams. So if you get the chance, check it out and most of our other stuff that we do with GTP. And with that, we'll head back to the show. All right, so today's episode is all about gaming mechanics and dating sims and dating. Basically, the way that this works out, different games, especially nowadays, have been adding in dating mechanics into their game. Either it's for something more positive or just an interesting storyline take to the game. Now, dating sims themselves actually is not a new thing. Some of these games have been around since at least the 80s. Or so, but as far as most of us in our experiences are probably not until other games that have came out in the 90s. And so we're just going to go over a few of our favorite gaming mechanics that are out there for dating. And one of the first ones that come up, and this is mostly because I'm a huge Fallout fan, is from Fallout 2 and then later Fallout 4. It's weird because...
You're a big Fallout fan?
Yes, I am.
He's our Fallout boy.
Ha!
Oh, no sponsorships here, guys.
Not yet.
Just fans.
Hashtag will take a sponsor.
Hashtag not an ad. Hashtag could be.
Would be.
Hashtag let us sponsor you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'll leave an email that you can reach out to Geek Scorpio on this. But anywho, with that, what happened in Fallout 2, which is kind of interesting, because Fallout 1 does not have a dating mechanic at all. So it's not something that they did from the get-go. It's something that they added in there. And the way Fallout 2's is kind of detrimental in the case of a different dating mechanic. So let me explain. In Fallout 2, you have one of your stats, which is charisma. You take half of your charisma stat. So if it's 4, you divide it in 2, you get 2, 6, 3, so on and so forth. And that determines how many slots that you have available to handle NPCs that can join you throughout the game. One of these things, though, in the town of Modoc, there's this person that you can talk. There's a brother-sister combination that you can talk to. Doesn't matter which gender you are. Doesn't matter which gender you talk to. But if you can basically not flirt or flirt, depending on how you go to it, you get put into a situation where you end up in a shotgun wedding with the other person. It goes something like this. You talk to this lady. She's in the I forget her name, but she's in the she's the daughter of this guy who owns a bunch of cattle in the town of Modoc. And you talk with her and you treat her with some pretty genuine human feelings and such. And the thing is, you've kind of got to, in Fallout 2, you have a quest to save your entire civilization. This is really just a pit stop for you. In fact, there is nowhere in the main plotline of the game that tells you to go to this town at all. So if you go into, you talk to this person, and they fall head over heels in love with you, and you have a not sex scene, so it's not actually a sex scene. We just cut it and we move on because they didn't want to program that in. But all your equipment's gone because you are basically, as far as the game's concerned, naked and doing it with this person, and her daddy catches you in the act, and you try to weirdly talk your way out of it horribly. By the end of it, you end up with a shotgun wedding. So there's you, the other person, and in this church, which I love it because the guy who's running the church is also the town mayor and the town sheriff and the town any type of municipal thing you need to be done. It's this guy. His name is Joe.
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Joe is just a town, your guy.
Yeah, it's funny because like what happens is you find out Joe gets voted for this because he was at the town meeting once. He's not even from this town because he's a trader. He leaves to go check on his trade goods in the back, checks on them, it's done, comes back into the place, and the entire town voted for him while he wasn't looking.
Oh my god.
He seems nice. Let's vote for him.
There's like, can I appeal? Well, you can appeal to the town judge. Who's that? Well, we voted, it's you. Well, what about the mayor? That's also you. You know, maybe I should take up my grievances with the sheriff. That's also you, Joe.
Well, funny thing about all those positions, Your Honor, Sheriff, Mayor.
So anyway, when you get married to this person, her daddy will come back with you with a double barrel shotgun to your back, and it's either marry this person or I put two in your spine. Since your character doesn't want to die, agrees to the marriage. That NPC slot is held up by them for the entirety of the game, and as far as I know, there isn't a way to get a regular divorce. They still follow you into combat and then immediately run away.
So, okay, hold on. This really isn't much of a relationship mechanic so much as it's blackmail?
It sounds like blackmail, definitely.
Yeah. I said it was a mechanic. I didn't say it was a good one because mechanically it takes up one of your NPC slots forcibly.
I mean, it's a blackmail relationship.
That's bad. That's a toxic relationship, my dude.
From my understanding, your character doesn't even want to be part of this, but it was either get married or get shot.
Okay, so the player character is okay with having been coerced into coitus.
No, I think that he's saying they were coerced into marriage, but because they slept together.
So, Brandon, they thought I was going to be a hit it and quit it, and then Papa came by and thought, well, we're getting married now.
Okay. It sounded to me more like it was the other person who, quote, fell head over heels was like, nah, we banging. And then that became a knocking.
This was supposed to be a one-night stand, and now we got to buy furniture because we're married.
Yeah, it was. So in the game, it's completely consensual.
Okay.
However, you didn't intend to be married after this.
The worst part of that is it brings a literal connection to the term ball and chain, because it's literally taking up a space and it's always following you around in the game. So you literally are out a companion space.
Yeah. Side note, this is the only game in Fallout that does something weird like that. And so from my understanding, it's also one of the few games that even do something to this extent.
Oh,
now,
so messed up.
That being said, though, in Fallout 4, certain characters in there you can get into a relationship with. For the most part, though, you can, for those relationships, though, the only real in-game effect is that you get a status element whenever you're resting called Lover's Embrace. So if you're...
Why is that an ailment?
A status ailment?
No, not ailment. Effect.
Okay, I'll take it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so what happens is that when you have to have a lot of conversations and actually get talk to each individual person there until you get to a point in their relationship that they will, because every character in Fallout will have like their dedication mission, and you can find that out because what happens is they give you a status buff while they're in your party, but it doesn't come into effect until you hit that sort of level of your relationship with them. But some of them, like, for example, in my game, I believe it was Piper, the newspaper reporter. Love Piper. But you can go beyond that and get into an actual relationship with them. Kind of like in Mass Effect 2, when you have a certain level of a conversation with these characters, you get an extra mission to help with that character. They won't give that
a loyalty mission.
A loyalty mission. They won't give that to you until
and it's not even so much that. It's actually, I think you can get those just by even recruiting the character. I don't think you have to reach a certain conversation level.
I honestly don't remember. It's been a minute.
Yeah, same.
But for these characters, though, you have to have a relationship with them. So not every character has a relationship, a romantic end for it. For example, Strong, who's a super mutant, he doesn't want. He'll follow you because he thinks you're the strongest person out there since you busted him out of jail. But yeah, there's only like 3 romantic options or a couple of romantic options. But essentially, you just can flirt with these guys. Once you get to that relationship level, you will get Lover's Embrace, which is anytime you rest, you get an extra, I think, EXP bonus for having them in your party when you're resting. But yeah, each companion will have their own companion quirk with them, which that gets unlocked when you have that. What's interesting, though, is that they fall for you based upon not only your conversations, but also your in-game behavior as well.
Oh.
So, for example, if you are trying to romance, say, Piper, she really likes it when you are talking to other people and you want to help them out with whatever quests, lines, and problems that they have, as long as you're not asking for money for that quest to be paid off.
So Piper likes good-hearted people.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we have altruism in the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's like, just because apocalypse doesn't mean we're not going to have standards.
Boner killer.
Pro boner killer.
But yeah, so that's my take with Fallout on that one. Some of them are kind of a jerk. There's like Paladin Dance, who's from the Brotherhood of Steel. And Paladin Dance the problem with him is that in order for you to get to those relationship levels with Paladin Dance, you have to wholeheartedly join in with the Brotherhood of Steel.
Is that bad?
The Brotherhood of Steel are kind of dicks, but they also...
I've never played a Fallout game. Well, I played like 2 hours of 4 before.
The fact that you're even romancing in 4 is kind of crummy as far as I'm concerned, because you have a spouse with a child somewhere.
They did. You woke up to watch them get killed.
No, the child's fine, right?
Yeah, the child is fine.
That's how the game starts.
Off.
You're looking for your kid.
Yeah.
And there's a twist.
No spoilers, even though I know the ending.
Yeah, I know the ending for it, so not as bad as you think. But who knows how much time has gone past since your spouse has passed away?
Like 70 years.
Or something.
I don't know. I don't actually know.
Getting closer to that date.
I just know what happens to your child.
But yeah, so that's how Fallout sort of treats that, which is kind of an interesting take. I think it's kind of interesting that your playstyle will affect your romantic options as well.
Very nice.
That is interesting. I don't think that's really a thing in like Mass Effect. Like the only way you can lose the relationship with one person is by trying to have a relationship with someone else behind their back. And then even then at one point they're just going to confront you and be like, "Hey, pick." Except in Andromeda, where you can actually have all the free sex you want until you commit to a relationship, and then they're like, "Hey, you got to pick one of us."
So what you're saying is it's free real estate.
It's free real estate, and they don't care. Like you can sleep with all of the love interests, that are available for your gender. There's like one for the females that isn't available to the males, and vice versa. And then, yeah, you can like sleep with them, but then as soon as you want to take that level or like take it to the next level with one of them, then it closes the romance options with the rest.
I just had like a hard brain click. Like I totally forgot about The Outer Worlds.
There is no romance in Outer Worlds.
Shh, we get to see so many romances in the Outer Worlds.
Actually,
oh yeah, I need to finish it, but I love that Parvati is
I love that
asexual. Canon asexual.
That still wants relationship.
Yeah.
it's
Excellent.
sweet.
We love some representation. I am
She's also my favorite
of the
party member in
asexual
that game.
variety. She's what?
She was like my favorite party member in that game too.
Oh my god, before I learned that there was no romance, I was going to romance. I kept telling Vicar Max that I was going to romance, or that I was going to romance the royal vestments off of him. And then I found out that I couldn't, and I was like, fine.
And then Liz was mad about it.
And then I was mad about it, and then I got over it and was like, I guess I'll just have to do this in my fan fiction, which I never wrote.
That reminds me, I have a fan fiction of Final Fantasy VIII that a friend of mine wrote like right after it came out. He was so kind as to send me a copy of it.
Oh.
Yes.
I guess since we're starting with Final Fantasy, does any of the Final Fantasies have like a dating option or anything like that?
Kind of.
Sort of. 7 and 10 have kind of.
I know 14 has a wedding that you can do.
Yeah, and that's to like another player. You can't actually like romance.
Yeah, you have to do that with your like someone that you like kind of know, and the benefits. You know, there's that quest. You do the quest and you pray and all that stuff, but it's not an NPC, so I don't think it really counts.
It doesn't count for this.
Yeah.
I got a cool mount out of it.
But it's a pretty wedding. I've done it 4 times.
Aww.
My wife's done it twice. Only once was with me.
I've never done it. No one's gonna marry me.
I used to have 3 husbands in game.
Incredible.
Now I only have 1, but now,
I was gonna say polygamy galore.
Well, so I'm not certain how Final Fantasy 14 handles that, because I know you can do the wedding quest, but after that,
it's 1 for each character, but you can renew your vows.
Yes, that is true. They have a renew your vow.
It's
All
really
I know-
cute.
All I know is one of my friends refers to their sex dungeon and is like, I have Emmerich down there, and I have Harshaphon down there, and
Of course.
It's like, my god, chill, lady. She's like, no, you cannot tell me how to chill.
They're my stable, and you will not judge me.
She's like, get back down in there, Thancred. Who said you could come out for air?
Well, outside of that, I think that 7 and 10, and even then, like in 7, it's like the who you go on the date with at the Gold Saucer, and then in 10, it's just who you ride on the snowmobile with.
Oh, because I was sitting there
You can
thinking,
actually,
yeah, I was like, wait, there's a dating thing in 10? What?
yeah, and you get to have like a conversation with the person that you get on, or that you ride on the snowmobile with, and so there's like I think you can go with Riku or Yoon. No, I think Yuna will always be with one of the others. I think.
No, Lulu.
But I know you can. Yeah, you can go with Riku or
Yes.
Lulu or Waka.
Oh, I've never gotten Waka. I've only ever gotten Lulu and Riku.
I think that they're all mad. Like, he's not a fan of it.
I'm not a fan
if
of
I
Waka.
remember correctly.
I'll do this.
I
but
love
I'm not
Waka.
happy
Shut
about
your
this.
whore mouth.
He's a racist.
And a xenophobe.
And everyone has their problems. Yeah. And a religious zealot.
Anywho,
Well, anyway, he gets, well, that's different. Anyway, Waka sure is a character.
He gets fixed in the sequel.
Waka's a person. That's true.
Waka sure breathes air.
Waka sure is a character.
Waka is there.
It's true, except in my party, because I hate that blitzball. As a
Oh yeah,
weapon.
F Blitzball. That whole thing is trash, just like Triple Triad.
How dare
Oh my
you?
god, I love Triple Triad. Triple Triad is like my favorite.
You just triggered half of the other members on here.
What gonna do about it? What gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? Fight me, Rod. Fight me.
You know what? I challenge you in 14 to Triple Triad.
Okay.
I will not accept because it's dumb and a waste of my
Shit.
time.
That's
I love-
rock solid. Damn it.
Oh my god, I play so much Triple Triad.
Okay.
Got so many.
Gateway Theaters presents Civil War.
Leo's gonna do some editing at some point on this. Anywho. So back to there was a game I was playing, and I got Liz to play with me for this, just for this podcast episode, and it was Monster Prom. To those who haven't played Monster Prom, you are a monster in this high school. Ages vary in this high school. Like, I don't know why, but nearly everybody there is in their 20s.
Yeah, they're all like 19 to 20, but they're going to high school Monster Prom.
Okay.
Maybe monsters just age slower?
Look, man, they were held back a couple times. Leave them alone.
The entire class?
A couple times?
What did I say, Leo?
Anyway, so in there you get to pick your monster, and it's played like a choose your own adventure game. When you're in multiplayer, though, it's kind of interesting because not only are you choosing your own adventure, the decisions that the other players are making will also affect your choose your own adventure.
That's really neat.
Oh my god. Leo and I actually had each other's backs because so along the way you get to do like who do you want to sit with at the lunch table, but like whoever I sit with or whatever table I sit at, Leo can't sit at. But then you have like if during the day or the night or whatever, if I want to go to the gym, Leo can't go to the gym.
Yeah, you can only go to one location.
There's weekend events. What?
You can only go to one location at a time. So if
that's what I've. Yeah. But like at lunch, you can. If I sit with the two people or whatever, or one person, then you can't sit with that at that same table. But then there's the like the school events, and so like if I go to the gymnasium, Leo can't go to the gymnasium. But then there's weekend events where it randomly selects who gets to do or who like the weekend event happened to/with. And there was one time I was really trying to get to go to the Monster Prom with Miranda, the mermaid princess, and Leo, she approached Leo and was like, hey, I really want to go to the Monster Prom, or I think I really like Blue, who is who I was playing. Mm-hmm. And Leo had the option to sabotage me by saying like, oh, she's not good people, or like saying something that goes against Miranda's beliefs. But Leo did me a solid and did not sabotage me. So I didn't sabotage him, but it was also some solid garbage because I had so many good stats at the end. I was doing so well. And I was like, and at the end, like Leo had lost stats. He had gone into like, he had gone really low and I was doing really well. And I was like, Miranda's super into me. I've got this. And I went to ask her out to the prom. And she was like, ew, no, I think of you like a sister. But not even that, because like the royals are like kind of into incest. So like, you're just my friend. And I got turned down. I was so mad. And Leo got his monster prom date.
So you got like, okay, hold on. I'm just more baffled at the whole just like, I think of you like a sister, but like not even that close of a sister. Like... One that I just think is just like, oh, she's just kind of over there.
Yeah, I'm like, I was so mad because I had done so well up to this point, and then Leo was the one who got to go to the Monster Prom.
Yeah, I was trashed at the end, and I got to go with my date, Vera, the Medusa, and I don't know how I won this date with this prom. Although the first time I was playing it, I lost. I did not go on a date with the prom. I was trying to go out with Polly Geist, who's a ghost, but due to some shenanigans, my character wouldn't stop. So I went to a shop at some point in the game, bought a sheet with 2 holes in it, so I could look like a ghost, but not a real ghost. But she's like, got to the prom, and she's all of a sudden just like, oh, I want to go out with anybody who's but a ghost, so I'm not going out with you. My thought is, take the stupid sheet off. Why can't you do this? But yeah, the whole point of Monster Prom is to score yourself a date for prom, and shenanigans happen in it.
And it's up to 4-player multiplayer, which was super fun. Like, it's something that I could definitely see, like, playing for GTP for, like, a one-off, or even... like, we have friend get-togethers and we'll play, like, Jackpot and stuff. Jackbox. This would be super fun.
I mean, honestly, if we do a GTP on Twitch for that, I would definitely want to get in on that.
I'd be down, yeah.
I'd like to see if I can finally go to prom for the first time.
Oh, Ben, Lickin, you didn't go to prom?
No, it was ugly.
I didn't either.
I did twice.
I went to prom with some friends.
My sister was the pretty one.
Showed her.
Well, I think you're super pretty.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So I actually have another game that I played specifically in time for this episode. I've had it for a while, but I only just finally sat down with it, and that was Boyfriend Dungeon.
I was going to say, can I guess? I was going to guess Boyfriend Dungeon.
Well, you know, because I post on your wall when I finish games.
Yeah.
But so I played Boyfriend Dungeon, and it was really interesting and really cute, and
I didn't like
No, I loved it. Like, there's a whole variety of love interests, and the DLC characters are actually integrated really well into the game, to the point where, like, I could only call out 2 of the ones that I thought were part of the DLC. The other one I would not have guessed, but you have, like, Jonah the surfer, there's Sunder the vampire club owner, and, like, I did not realize that there were actually, like, they were actually vampires and witches and stuff. But then there's, like, Leah, who is Latina, and there's 2 they them characters. There's a she they. Like, there's some really cool, like, representation in there, and everybody's super respectful of pronouns. And then what's also really neat is you can actually go to full romance with all of them, and there's no consequences. Like, everybody knows that you're there for your summer of love, and no one's there to, like, judge you. So at the end of the game, when I was, like, leaving to go back home, all of the characters came over and kissed my character in front of the others, and nobody cared. They were just like, we'll see you later. Oh, there was a K-pop guy who was in, like, a band, and you become his manager when you max out his rank.
Oh my god.
And Sunder breaks up with you, which I was super pissed about. I was like, your max love rank is that you're too apathetic for love, so we're breaking up.
That's the weirdest thing.
All right.
But then it's also, like, so it's neat because there's, like, visual novel elements, but then it's also a dungeon crawler / RPG, and you get to, like, level up your relationship with them by using them in the dungeons. And it's, like, actually pretty challenging. So, like, I think I played it for, like, I think it was the only game I played for, like, 3 solid days just so I could finish it in time for this. But also, like, I couldn't put it down. Like, I stayed up past when I was supposed to be asleep. I've been tired all week because of it. But I stayed up late because I really super wanted to finish the game. And, like, my favorite character was Holmes, Dr. Holmes, the she-they, who was a whip that refuses to be wielded. So you actually never use Dr. Holmes in a dungeon. You actually max your or grow your relationship with them a different way. And yeah, she's like, I'm not here to be wielded. I'm my own person. And you find out she's a big sci-fi geek, and I love her. We're going to get married probably.
Nice.
Except that's not her style.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
Do we want to go Japanese or really Japanese?
Oh.
I've been playing a lot of otomes, so I really don't care.
I'm curious what you mean by really Japanese.
Yeah, I figured that might attract some people's curiosity. How about you, Sam?
Yes.
Bring it.
To the very
Yes.
Japanese?
Yes.
Yes, talk about it. Do it.
Okay.
I need to
Bring
know.
it.
Or at least explain it.
Love Plus. Have any of you heard of it?
That sounds familiar.
Hold on.
If it is what I think it is.
So, Love Plus is probably the strangest relationship game there is, because it started off on the DS in Japan, and it's a franchise that never left Japan. In fact, if
Okay.
you know about this game, it's likely because you remember when it hit the media outlets, because in 2009, a Japanese man married, quote unquote, his character in the game, because Love Plus is
That was the one.
is a virtual girlfriend game for the DS.
Oh, I can't decide if I feel like I remember that or if I'm still thinking of the My Little Pony guy.
Maybe a little column A and B there, but
It's like I wonder if this is the guy that started the whole thing. Just what if we could marry our waifus?
Yeah, he literally married a waifu because I mean, now
What a-
granted,
Good for him.
yeah,
Yeah,
Alright,
if he's
man.
happy, good for him.
Happy.
exactly.
Fair enough.
It's so weird. The whole entire concept of this. In fact, there's even one game in this series released on iOS and still only in Japan.
Do you have
the
it,
most-
Brandon?
The most recent release was in 2019.
I'm assuming that that's a yes because you didn't answer me.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. What was it?
I said, "Do you have it, Brandon?"
No, I have other strange games. This is not one of them. I would be honest about that because, as my wife has said, I have no shame.
So if you're curious, My Little Pony comes out in 2010. Apparently the story with this game is 2009, so it predates it.
Okay. Well, I don't remember which one I heard about. Like, I heard about this one or if I heard about the My Little Pony one. Or that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe the My Little Pony guy was like, well, there's a guy in Japan who married his DS cartridge.
But can't I marry my pony?
We can talk about that later.
You just don't understand our love.
That one we'll talk about later. But yeah, 2009 was when this game released. And I remember this story floating around on the net for a while, but I don't remember much of it because I'm like, I didn't want to. I didn't want to look into this.
It's one of those things where it's just like, huh, that's neat, and then you keep going.
You want to talk about some games that encouraged self-love in Japan? Like solo adventures? And I'm talking about the one dance game that was released in Japan that had an attachment that was basically a vibrator.
Oh my.
And so this one guy would play a dance game with the controller and his girl would use the vibrator part.
That is beyond fascinating. I love that
Wow.
it exists. I really do.
It's also not the first one.
I also believe what Leo just said.
No, I believe it too.
Because I remember Rez.
Steal my thunder, Leo.
Well, it's not
They
that.
have
It's,
these things called plug and play. They weren't talking about the TV.
That's like, well, that's a new meaning to joystick now.
Yes, it is. Oh, but the slightly less Japanese one we have gotten releases, and some of you may be familiar with it. Sakura Wars.
That sounds
Oh,
familiar.
I've heard of it. Oh my god, did the Game Grumps play it?
I don't remember. I know that.
No, they were playing Sakura Spirit.
Oh, you're
Okay.
right. Yes. So this is a strategy RPG initially, but the most recent one was an action RPG with heavy emphasis on basically all of your comrades are women and you can date them. They've that spans so many different consoles in Japan, with a handful of them in the US. The ones in the US of note would be So Long My Love, and then just the self-titled Sakura Wars for PS4, which is the action RPG. But yeah, I mean, they're like steampunky kind of games in terms of their aesthetic. Heavy anime influence across the board, and yeah, it's a genuine Japanese good time.
Ooh.
one that we kind of have to just at least briefly mention real quick. The Sims. The Sims has a huge dating mechanic.
yeah.
Oh yes, obviously.
Oh my god.
Although
They do the
I have done
woohoo,
some
you
very
see.
weird things in the Sims games.
I mean, the way that I romanced the tornado in Sim City. Oof.
That's Sim City. That's not how that works,
Yeah, I know.
Liz.
Listen, with the way that my towns were being hit, you would figure we were in a relationship.
I only played it on the Super Nintendo when I romanced Bowser.
No, there's still tornadoes in there. It's still a
Yeah,
problem.
but there's also Bowser.
We'll save that for a city builder game day when we're talking about
yeah.
that. Which I've got some tales of yore.
I have one city builder tale, and it's not that exciting, but
Anywho, but in The Sims, like I think every time they make a new expansion for it, they expand they allow you to. I don't quote me on this one, but I think you can now in The Sims actually date death.
yes, I actually have a friend that I could probably get in here right now who could talk endlessly about The Sims. She loves The Sims.
My fondest memory of The Sims is when I was at a secondhand store and there was a little wicker basket full of Sims expansions, and I pulled out a copy of Haunting Ground.
Oh,
No, excuse me, Rule
that
of
is
Rose. Pardon me, it was Rule of
my
Rose.
God.
that is not a sim or a romance.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean,
That is a good game.
Rule of Rose kind of is.
I
I didn't say it was a healthy one.
If you're gonna say it's a romance, it is definitely not a healthy one.
No, they're just, and I have to thank my wife for that because she said, "Hey, we didn't go to this area. Go look here." I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, hey, look, a bunch of Sims expansions. Oh, look, a very hard to find video game for PS2. I will take that, thank you.
Yeah, it's like just tangential for a moment. I got Haunting Ground back in 2005 for like $20 used from GameStop, and it is in perfect condition, and now it goes for like $200.
You are lowballing yourself very hard, by the way.
I don't think so.
Back to the topic at hand.
Yeah. Sorry.
I had another core memory unlock.
Let's hear it.
HuniePop.
Yes!
Oh, HuniePop. That is a surprisingly good game, though.
I
will say
love that game.
It is, oh my god, it's Candy Crush, and you play Candy Crush to get your girlfriends. And if you get 3 successful dates, you get adult activities unlocked.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh my.
Oh, this is straight up in a hentai game. Then they make no secret of that.
They're not hiding it.
Although
No,
it's
but they have it. You have to be really good at the damn game to get to that point because it's so easy to biff it up.
Mhm.
Like, oh my god,
it's
the
kind
ex.
of yeah.
No, I was gonna say the ex-husband was very efficient at it. I just come in the living room and he's playing it. And next thing I know, I see boobies on his screen. I'm like, oh well, okay, good job.
I was like, oh, you got the high score. Good for you.
Because I think in that game, if I remember, it's a 2-part system. You have to also like actually have conversations and talk to the characters and
Yes.
get their back. Because some of them have really interesting backstories and such. I really liked how they played it. But also,
Yes, you're dating them. Like, yeah, you have to get them in the conversation. And then when you're on the date, you have to do the date. And if they have a gift, you got to give them the gifts. And then the gifts help out with that. And then you got to make sure you're candy crushing properly.
Mhm.
And then get her happiness level up. So you get the honey points.
So, not just you got to be good at the game, but you got to have a good game.
yeah. So
Yes.
I've said this before in other conversations, and I'll say it now. The best kind of like hentai or pornographic games most of the times are ones that have a really a good storyline with them as well. So you have that's more than just we're doing it.
It feels more connected.
Yeah, I have to ask, how many of us here have actually played HuniePop?
I have.
I mean, I have. I've never beaten the game, but I've played it enough. I know some about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My favorite's the Asian teacher. That was the first one I went for. Mostly because she was very sassy, and I like that. I know it speaks volumes for me because my wife is also ultra sassy. So,
But yeah, so HuniePop, yeah, but it's still a very well designed game. What is another one?
I mean, I'm just trying to think of just like really bad relationship ones. Just like Liz, when you were mentioning Game Grumps, I remember wasn't there like a yandere simulator game?
I'm sure that I think there is a couple of games called Yandere Simulator, but it's a lot of it is like you have your fave and you go and kill people who also want your fave, because you know what a yandere is, right?
Not exactly.
The yandere is basically if I can't have you, no one can.
okay, so they have like an extreme murder boner for you, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, no, you play the girl and that kills people.
Yeah.
That's the gameplay.
So you're the one who has the murder boner for a senpai.
Yes.
But I think remember one that was literally just called the Yandere Simulator.
Yeah, that's
And-
what
that one was great in particular because you had to not only just like try to romanticize like senpai at the same time, but you got to get all these other biatches out of the way by all means necessary. And it's like, you know what? There's an incinerator, burn the clothes. There is a mop, clean the blood. And it's like the only way like senpai can notice you is if you're the only one there left. Logic.
Here, I'll turn the steering wheel to. Has anyone ever played Hatoful Boyfriend?
I have not.
I
I've
have
heard of
heard
it.
that it is messed up and pigeons. That's all I know.
Yes.
I don't know anything about it other than that.
May I read the
Read.
Yes.
Tell us the tale of your.
Read it to us.
I shall read the plot.
There, that one.
Hatoful Boyfriend is set in an alternative version of Earth in which sapient birds have seemingly taken the place of humans in society for reasons that are hinted at but not fully explained in a dating simulation portion of the game. In Bad Boys Love, it is revealed that Hatoful is set in a post-apocalyptic dystopian future in which a pandemic of a deadly mutated strain of H5N1 flu or bird flu nearly wipes out mankind in the year 2068. The release of a counter-virus cultivated to destroy the virus avian characters in a desperate attempt to stop the spread of disease ends up backfiring, as birds who resist the counter-virus instead develop human-level intelligence. War soon breaks out between the newly uplifted birds and the remnants of humanity, resulting in birds emerging as the planet's new dominant life forms as humans continue to succumb to the disease. Following several terrorist attacks by human insurgents, all remaining humans have been forced to live in the wilderness away from civilization in a form of apartheid-like segregation. Oh, hold on. I continues now.
Apartheid. Okay, that's
But
awesome.
wait, there's more.
Apartheid. Yes.
It's a weird word. That's fair.
Yeah, that was like, I'm going to open a link to that so I can say this. The game's story takes place primarily at the fictional St. Pigeon Nations Institute, a bird-only high school located in a fictional Japanese town of Little Dove, Hachiman City. Long after open warfare between humans and birds had ended, society had adjusted to the avian conquest, though with minor bird-related cultural changes. For example, while some holidays such as Christmas and Tanabata are celebrated much as they are in the present day, the major event in the game called Legumentines Day? Like the bean Legumentines Day, whatever. A amalgamation of the traditions of Valentine's Day and Setsuban. In a more grim case, the term war dove and warhawk have been repurposed as labels for two opposing political factions, divided
Holy
over
shit.
an ongoing mutual
Jesus.
hostility between birds and the
This is
human
dating
minority, the altruistic Dove Party, who advocates for cooperation and peace between the two groups, and the militant
Versus
Hawk
the
Party, whose goal is to exterminate humanity altogether. By the time Hatoful Boyfriend's narrative begins, the Dove Party, the Hawk Party, and their respective schools dominated much of the world's politics. This is such a beautiful dating game.
Dating game.
Oh my god, that is so much more messed up than I realized.
Yeah. That
Is it
that,
just me, or
thought
did
we were
someone
just-
like insert 800 fanfics together and glue them together?
I thought we were just gonna choose our favorite pigeon.
Well, you have your choices of romancing a rock dove, that's the protagonist's sickly but hardworking childhood friend, a fantail pigeon who's a snobbish French aristocrat. Let's see, another dovetail that's in hiding, the popular, flirtatious, but extremely secretive fantail pigeon, a bookish mourning dove, a hyperactive fantail pigeon who's obsessed with pudding, an eccentric Luzon bleeding heart, looks like a little quail, who behaves as if he were in some kind of fantasy role-playing game. Haha, that's meta, I guess. A kind of narcoleptic button quail, that's the protagonist's homeroom teacher, and a creepy antisocial checkered partridge who serves as the school's doctor.
Holy shit.
Yowie.
For children!
Wowie.
No, that's some... Wait, is it Yowie?
It's a bird.
No, it doesn't say your character. It's left open, so you can either be a dude or a girl or neither.
Oh.
Just
So yeah, it
wow,
never actually
yow,
says what
wow,
gender
wow.
the character is. The gender of the character is what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. But you
wanna
are a
gloss
pigeon.
over that this is just Planet of the Apes. Just saying.
I didn't even think of that.
It sounds
is
very
like
glad.
the plot. So actually, I'm gonna go with the one that's the most totally obscure, I feel, out of what I've got left here, which is the Tonelico and by proxy R Nosurge titles, which are turn-based style JRPG games where romancing select party members buffs your character and your skills, gives you unique abilities, and also gives you different endings.
Oh.
What? That's interesting.
Yeah, it started on the PlayStation 2. They had 2 Tonelico games there. They had an Tonelico on the PS3, and then they made R Nosurge, which let's see here, is more of like it's a little bit more action oriented than the other 3. But yeah, and it's all about singing. Like song is a very big part of it.
I love music.
So yeah, I mean, it's not like Rhapsody where the characters talk in song randomly, but they're basically songstress wizards, if you will, songstress sorceresses. And your relationship bond with them gives them the inspiration for better songs and therefore better magic and better buffs.
Huh.
Yeah, it's actually a series my wife Jacqueline is very into and gets like nothing anymore. So
What was that? There's a video game that was, I don't know if it actually came out or not, but I remember it was huge with some voice actors because it was like a little indie title, but the whole thing was a musical. Oh, Chorus, an adventure music,al
Sounds pretty good, though.
Yeah. I heard some of the music and it was like fine. But the art for it looks like a comic book. It's really cool looking. Let's see if that's actually out yet. Chorus.
Mad props, by the way, to any VO that can also sing well. They are related in terms of their skill set, but are not the same.
Yeah, there's actually so we used to get Sunny Straight here a lot, and Sunny Straight he does music, and so I had asked him once, or no, I don't know if it was actually me, but somebody at a convention asked him once, like, do a lot of voice actors seem like they also sing? Like, what's that like? Or what's that about? And he said that because you're training your voice anyway to do like vocal exercises and to be able to do voices and stuff, a lot of them can actually like manipulate their voices well also.
Yeah. Have you ever heard Chris Sabat sing?
I don't think so.
Oh man, it's great.
So that Chorus game is not out yet. Wait. Oh, it looks like they're working on Stray Gods, the role-playing musical. So
Okay.
Seems like they're super into the music ones. It looks like you can wish list it on Steam, though. But I was checking to see if it was like a dating sim or not. But
there is an episode on music that we're going to be doing at some point. I know that. And that's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, the Persona games are kind of an interesting one that also have a dating sim mechanic. The weird thing is, anyone who's followed the whole series of Persona, that's a recent change. Persona 1 and Persona 2 was more like a traditional RPG. When they got released Persona 3, they started with an aspect of a dating sim side story for and building up your relationships with your allies.
I just started Persona 3 and I think I already know who I'm going to romance. Okay, Persona 4 and Persona 5, who'd you guys romance?
So I've gone over this with Liz.
Yeah, you're about to be a party pooper about it.
It's not a matter of being a party pooper. It's a matter of the way. Okay, fine, you can take it that way. I will allow that opinion.
No, I was just messing with you.
I know. My mentality of these games is, regardless of the fact that you can romance these characters, I don't view all of them as that. I view them as just your friends and your friend group.
Yeah, you don't want to disrupt the friend group by dating one and then potentially causing issues later.
Right, because that happens in real life. If two friends in a friend group start dating, if there's fallout, it tends to split the friend group, and normally not in a healthy way. So my headcanon for these games is that you date nobody that's in your party list, because it can't disrupt your friend group.
Did you romance Hifumi then? In 5, Hifumi's not part of your friend group. She's just one of your social links.
She's just a confidant. Yeah, I did not romance anybody actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Although Makoto has the strongest character progression throughout that game.
I love her. That's who I romanced. I also want to point out that I dated somebody in our friend group, and he's still one of my best friends.
Well, hey, congrats on that.
Thanks.
Because that's
we did not
really
ruin
difficult.
The social. We did not ruin the dynamic, but that's for a different day. But yes, Makoto was the one that I romanced because I love her. She is best girl.
How about the rest of you? You guys play any of Persona 5?
I've never played Persona.
Same.
I have not played 5.
In 4, I romanced Rise.
Well, Rise is the go-to because she's not even in your party anyway.
She's your navigator.
That's true. It's Laura Bailey. I mean, how can you not?
I don't even care that it's Laura Bailey. I just really liked Rise. And then Yukiko was my second. But I could talk about my Persona ships all day, so I won't.
Shipping is a whole different story on that one.
Yeah, that train has sailed for another airport.
Yeah. The train has sailed for another airport.
Let's see here. In Persona 3, it was Mitsuru I was pursuing, and in
Yeah.
Persona
That's who
4...
I'm gonna romance.
I thought so
love
too.
her.
I was gonna say it.
Mitsuru is just like my type, man.
Persona 4, I went with Yukiko, but that's mostly because Chie, like half my friends who were playing this at the time were all dating Chie, and don't get me wrong, she is great.
Yeah.
And typically in Persona games, whoever's got the lover's card, that's sort of the way the storyline wants to push you to.
That's
sort
true.
of.
They encourage it. They don't force it.
They encourage it.
Oh, An is the lovers in.
Yep. It's always the implied one.
It's always the implied one. I'm just glad it's not one that they have the implied one, but they have other options, and then they have ones that are not with your core group.
Yeah, they're still going to give you the option to romance whoever you want. I mean, as long as they're an option. I just feel like I think my biggest turnoff about, especially 5, is the romance between that you can romance your like homeroom teacher or the reporter. It just feels weird to me that you're like 16, 17 tops, and you are able to romance your homeroom teacher or an adult journalist who definitely knows better. Also, the fact that you have to you have to get to a certain point with the homeroom teacher, to where she'll give you a massage so you can go out after you do dungeons. So otherwise when you finish a dungeon, you are just in for the night. But if you get a massage from her, you can go out and do other things at night. And it's so weird. Like that whole thing is so weird with her.
That is super weird. And there's some really weird ones out there.
Yeah, I just remember getting the phone call, the maid, where they call the maid service.
That's her.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, that's so awkward.
Yeah. And if it had just been an awkward encounter, that would have been one thing. But the fact that it just keeps going, I was like, I'm so uncomfortable.
One I wanted to bring up because I know Ben has played this. The Colonel Sanders dating sim.
Totally free, and I think it only takes 30 minutes, right?
You can definitely beat that thing easily.
I love
just in one sit down
that game exists.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's also the Colonel Sanders romance movie, or the Hallmark holiday movie.
Oh my god, the one with Mario Lopez?
Yes. It's 15 minutes long, and it packs in every holiday movie trope and Latin movie trope.
Oh yeah.
All together.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny.
It's more than finger licking good.
9 lovable characters. Multiple hours of
Oh my god. But it's insane just going through that and you just think, oh, I'm just romanticizing Colonel Sanders. No, you're not. This thing is an entire just wacky slice of life, like anime from beginning to end. Because you got your freaking friend who's just oh hey, how's it going? And then you got those nerds who are just trying to hit on you. And then you got the rival who's kind of a bitch all the time, and then her friend who's an idiot, he's on a Kronk standards. You always gotta have those.
Yeah, those two characters look like they're out from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yes.
Like a himbo, not like he's an idiot, but a lovable idiot.
Kinda.
Himbo.
And then Colonel Sanders.
And then Colonel Sanders and just come by. Oh my god. Actually, what I love is because when because Sam and I actually played it together. We just had to like voice narrate it the entire time.
Yeah, that's the fun way to go.
Which at this point now has stuck like one of our favorite nicknames I have for her.
Is Colonel Sanders?
No.
Babe, someone had to carve that on a Jurassic Park music box.
What?
Why? Why do you want to tell the world?
The world must know.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's finger licking good.
No, because like in it, she called her character Chicken Biscuit. And then, since I was voicing Colonel Sanders, I was trying to get as Kentucky as possible, so I kept looking at her with all the seduction in the world, and like, oh, don't you worry about that, my little chicken biscuit.
I'm leaving.
Oh my
You don't
god.
You do not need to worry about this.
Leo
Try
can put a censor over the name.
Boop. I'll censor the name, but then
This
people are
is
going.
weird.
I
don't know
Yeah,
what
it's gonna sound worse
possessed
if
me.
it's gonna sound weirder if it's
If I put a beep over it, yeah.
That
Yeah,
would be funny.
Because
Yeah.
people be like, what did he call her? It's like, I guess the world will never know, along with my 11 urban spices.
My
Just
God.
I use to season on my chicken.
Okay.
Hey, we died in that game. We died.
We
for Sanders.
did. We
And,
did.
it's like, and you know what? I feel a little insulted going through all this effort to romanticize him, and I've yet to go to a KFC since then.
That's because real life KFCs are gross.
That's true. So it's like only Japan can make like a good KFC game because their KFC is bomb, and then there's ours.
Look, I'm just gonna say any fast food restaurant's better in Japan. Just is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've never been.
Me
To
neither.
a fast
We
food
plan
restaurant? Liar.
No, to Japan.
With the Nihon.
Nihon.
Excuse me. Yes.
So we all know Kim and Tim.
Yes.
They told me a story one time about Kentucky Fried Chicken in Japan.
Uh-oh.
I think it was them.
What was the story? That's amazing.
That it is so well that it is actually ordered and one of the most popular thing to get for Christmas dinner.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have to like reserve it months in advance in some
Mhm.
cases.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because they get. Actually, I looked up the orders of that, and it is a pretty legit meal.
Yeah.
All right, I have an idea.
Let's do it.
In like 10 years, we should all go to Japan for Christmas. And I say 10 years because that'll be how long it takes me to save up.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, give everyone the time
Wait.
to get the money.
We'll start a gaming theaters pot trip and
Go fund
It's like,
our
hey,
trip
guys,
to Japan for our
go
podcast.
fund our trip to Japan for Christmas.
So we can have KFC in Japan for Christmas.
The sooner it's there, the sooner the episode goes live. Let's go, guys.
Let's rank those up.
All
Help you
right,
boys
I'll
out.
put that on the maybe bucket.
And it's got to be a bucket because KFC, baby.
Ah,
Oh yeah.
Not just a pun. That
shut up, Brandon.
Ouch. Okay, that's fair.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm trying to think of some other ones real quick. Before
I have a game.
Okay.
I don't know if it would count.
I've still got a list
What?
too, but go ahead.
Okay, I've got 3 more games to talk about that I have personally played.
Okay.
Has anyone else played Parappa the Rapper?
Yeah,
I
once.
have-
No.
But it's
Oh my
been
God.
years.
Where he romances, like he's trying to romance and take Sunny on a date, and it's all like the first song he learns how to defend himself so he can defend Sunny, and then he learns how to drive so he can drive Sunny to the beach, and then he
That's
gets a
so
job at the
cute.
flea market so he can afford to buy ingredients to make her a cake, and then it
And
all
then he
comes together.
Oh my God! Yes.
Kick,
I
kick,
just like
So cute.
kick, punch.
kick, punch. It's all in the mind. It's like, oh my God.
I did not know that's what Parappa the Rapper was about.
Yeah,
it's
and
awesome.
It is. It's so
then you
sweet.
got like, oh my God.
So like it's Parappa and this other guy, and he's called Joe Chin. And just look him up, you'll see why. But he's like, I like Sumi so much, and I want to be her boyfriend and take him out. But then he's like, how am I supposed to be as good as Joe Chin? And he's like, I know, I gotta believe. And that's when he goes through this story of learning how to drive and getting money and learning how to bake from a very angry chicken that gets very mad at
Oh
you.
my
If you
God.
fail, she comes out of
That-
the TV and yells at you.
That chicken level is insane.
Oh God, I almost threw my controller so many times. So what do you guys say? Would that count as like kind of a dating sim game? It's like a musical dating game.
It's really cute.
It's cute. I'm gonna say, sadly, no, because that's the plot
Aw.
of the storyline for it. It would be the same as if
Really?
Mario
I mean-
is trying to is in a relationship with Peach. That's not the point of the game. She's just kidnapped. But
And there's
other
no
games are
mechanic
similar to that.
around it specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rhythm game.
But it is a rhythm game, and I did not realize that was what was happening in the game part after the rapper.
I feel like maybe it's like one of those weird little middle games that doesn't really belong to a category.
It really doesn't.
I think it's a rhythm game with a love storyline.
Yeah.
There is a rhythm game with a love storyline on it, and depending on which options that you take, like I can't remember what the name of it is, and if anybody out there remembers this game,
maybe we'll know.
Tweet or send a message in Gaming Theater Presents, but it's one that you basically, based upon your actions in those songs, they let you pick and choose which way you want to go for this relationship, or to pursue different relationships based upon which songs endings that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm not.
So in that case, it is part of the mechanics for the game. It's not just the storyline for it.
I feel like Sammy's should count if that one counts.
If that exists, I could be just making it up.
Well, GTP Gaming Studio. Looks like we got to get on this.
Let's get going, folks.
We will Kickstarter this, and
I feel like, what if we make a poll on it? Let's make a poll on it, and so we can have the audience determine. It's like Per Up the Rapper. It's like romance game or not.
Yeah,
and it's like, do you believe in Sonny's love with the power of music? You gotta believe.
Because then I would feel like Otomes would actually not be considered dating games then, because that is just the story included in, like, the romance happens along with the story that you're doing.
That would kind of then throw out almost all the visual novel dating sims, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we'll let it slide then. We'll let the Rapper show up for this one. Plus, it's got a rappy.
I love Pappy Rappy.
We got your back, Sammy.
I like it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll fight for you.
Yay.
So, speaking of
we just gotta believe.
Speaking of fighting, it's not a game about dating, but there is a whole dating system in it.
Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
I'm so glad you said that. I wasn't going to, but my wife is probably thrilled that you mentioned it because she has platinumed that game on PlayStation.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I got caught playing that and my parents took it away from me.
Well, we should
That's
make
horrible.
a party and play it now.
I was 14.
You should. That's fair, though. No, the one I'm going to bring up, because it also involved fighting, is Ryuga Gotoku, as it's known here, Yakuza. They have a whole cabaret hostess minigame, and after you've unlocked that, you have the ability to actually talk with the various hostesses, go on dates with them, go do karaoke, take them to dinner. Basically a whole romancing subsystem built into this beat-em-up RPG.
Huh. I've never played the Yakuza games, but I've heard they're really good.
Oh, they're so stupid good. But yeah, it's a pretty in-depth system. There's all kinds of different characters that you can have a evening with in different ways, and it's never anything nefarious either. In fact, the main character in the game is usually the type of guy that's like, if you harm a hair on her head, I will break your neck in 7 different ways. Like the dude is like, I see you hit a woman, I will break you in every way. It's hilarious, actually.
Aggressively romantic.
But no,
who says romance is dead?
I know, right? He's the most chivalrous guy on the planet. In fact, the creator of the series said that the main character, the protagonist of the series, Kiryu Kazuma, will never be in any fighting game for one reason, and that is he would never hit a woman.
He's a lover, not a fighter. Huh?
He would never hit a woman.
Aww.
And in fighting games, there's always female fighters, at least modern day.
Fair.
But like that was the rationale for why that they would not allow him to be a guest character in any of the various fighting games out there. Notably the ones like Tekken and stuff that were getting a lot of guest fighters this last generation.
Yeah.
No. Everyone was like, we want Kiryu, we want him in there. And they're just like, no, because he would never hit a woman, so he can't be in a game where you can hit women.
It's like, this is only, like, this is not actually, like, a romance thing, but in Final Fantasy VII, Rude has a crush on Tifa, so if you have Tifa in your party, anytime you fight him, he actually has, like, a minuscule chance of, it's like a 2% chance that he will aim for her. And if she is the only person left alive in your party, he will, like, it's a really small percentage that he will actually do an attack that will hurt her critically.
Oh,
fascinating.
And
I like mechanics like that. It's very neat.
Yeah, somebody actually like data mined the game to find the like probability of him hitting Tifa, and it was really just like 2%. But I don't know if it's official in the remake, but I noticed that when I first played the remake, there's a fight against Reno and Rude on the Sector 7 plate, or like the tower holding up the plate where you have to fight them before platefall. And they, like, I noticed that when I was controlling Tifa, Rude would not hit her. Anytime I went to attack him and he could block, he would actually just like push her away and like he'd defend and move her away. But I don't know if that's actually just how it happened in my game or if that's like a fact thing.
Damn, I want to play that game again, test the theory out. Dang.
I want that to be real because that sounds so fascinating of a mechanic, especially one to bring over 20 years later.
Yeah, and I thought that was super neat because, like, I don't know when the data mine happened for the Rude, or like when you fight with Rude in the OG, but I did think that it was super neat in the or that it was like a thing.
I do love some of those little, like, tiny little things that they adjust in that one. There was a Resident Evil where you could play Chris, and to show off that he's got this great, that he's a highly trained sniper, there was a random chance that with the pistol it would insta kill some a zombie.
Ooh,
yeah, the marksmanship thing, because he was he had high marks for that. Like, that's the thing with those games though, was like he had like unrealistically high training for his age. He's like, oh, he's got
26 or whatever, and like
and 12 years Green Beret experience. It's like,
yeah,
no, you don't.
And then they try to play it off like, oh, he learned a lot from his dad, and like Claire's so good because she learned from her brother, and it's like, all right.
But yeah, there's little things like that which I always thought did like enjoy when they put those into the games, because it's kind of I should ask Rob about that, but it's kind of rough because you'll have to slide that into the programming to make it work for something that specific.
Yeah, it's just another line of code.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but then you have to balance it too, and that's where the real difficulty comes in.
Oh, didn't you have that shirt that said something like that? It's just a line of code.
I do. Oh, I have a shirt that says cursor lock is one line of code, and then it gives you the line of code. Because cursor lock, people just learn cursor lock.
I'm kind of running out. Does anybody have some last romance-based games that we can talk about real quick before we head
Doki Doki Literature Club?
Okay, that one though.
Oh God, hold on.
It's really good, but like, is that one?
Ooh.
I mean, oh God,
define romance.
Well,
okay, are we gonna tangent here?
No, listen. Here's the thing. Monica is in love with you, and I don't care what people say. Like, yes, she was misguided. I am a Monica stan. Only Monica, just Monica. I feel like she went about it wrong, but she was lonely. She was the only sentient character in that game. She surrounded herself with these people who she wanted to be sentient, and they never were. And then she got so lonely that she started manipulating everyone to try and be together with you because you were also sentient like her. And yes, I think that Monica deserves love, and people need to stop being so mean to her.
Sammy, you are getting a sick enjoyment out of that.
She's best girl. I love her. I would do anything for her. But the dating mechanic prior to that, where you write poems, and like the more you learn about each girl, you get to learn like what words appeal to each girl. And so like the super cutesy stuff you find out is like Sayori, and then things that are about like baking and things like that are Natsuki, and then like the dark weird shit is Yuri. I think the mechanic in that one is so weird because at first you're like, what do any of these words have to do with anything? But then especially when you start uncovering like which ones Monica or Yuri likes, and you're like, oh, and the ones that Natsuki likes, because she has trigger warning, but she has an abusive household. Her dad beats her, and so like manga is her only escape, and she like just is like really shy and timid, and like, or not shy, but she's like kind of timid and defensive because she's just used to that kind of a home life. And then you realize Yuri is just really dark and messed up. And
dark and brooding.
And poor Sayori. Anyway, I love Monica.
Did we talk about Dream Daddies?
We have not.
We didn't, and that one is so good.
What?
I'm surprised Dream Daddy didn't show up as quickly as it.
Okay, well, no. First, I'm going to rapid fire a couple of things because I don't want them to go unmentioned, since I know we have a time restriction.
Tomes!
So, rapid firing right now. The visual novel dating sim Sweet Fuse, where you are playing as Keiji Inafude's niece, came out on the PSP. And
I don't know who Keiji Inafude is.
Guy made Mega Man.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry for the disrespect.
No, that's fine, because he has a really, really piss poor company now. To put it bluntly. Done nothing good yet lately. There's also the farming sim Harvest Moon, where you get to court
and Stardew Valley, and
right.
I'm playing Coral Island, which is also I'm gonna be romancing people once they finally get the romance thing further along, and it's still in early access right now. So
Stardew Valley, I remember, if you can keep your relationship going, because something I really kind of appreciate this, in Stardew Valley you can get married in that game. However, you also still have to keep up that relationship after you're married as well.
In Coral Island, you can have you get married and have kids, and your kids can actually like grow older and stuff.
Oh wow.
Nice. Another quick note too, the Fire Emblem series introduced a relationship system with Awakening, which also introduced time traveling children from the future. So depending on your spouse,
don't romance the children.
No, you can't. That's the thing. Depending on your spouse in the actual time, it will affect the children, because every character more or less has a child attached to them. However, stuff like their hair color are influenced by your player's hair color if you romance their other half.
So
neat. Some, like, a lot of them are canon children between two other characters in the party throughout the game. But if you romance them instead, that child becomes one of your children as well, and therefore they get a trait from you, generally the hair color and or eye color, that kind of thing. And the player character even has a dedicated child as well. So no matter who you romance, you will end up with at least one child.
Huh.
Cool.
Yeah, very neat feature in that game. And then a very quick one, because I'm not all that familiar with the series, but there's actually a series called Conception.
That sounds awesome.
A little on the head. It is a turn-based RPG revolving around you birthing children of the stars, if you will. Your party members are entirely based off of your children. They are your children. You have conceived them with another maiden, with a maiden. However, it is not traditional childbearing, which is what makes it less creepy.
Do they spring from your head like Athena?
They are ethereally born via your emotional connections with the women. And there's even an anime adaptation of the first game, which also goes in and explains that.
I've got one last one really, really quick. It's just super duper obscure. It's the Thousand Arms, the PlayStation 1 game that came in December 17th, 1998, and it is all about a, quote, womanizing spirit blacksmith set in a steampunk-type world who has to increase the power of his weapons because he is the chosen to find the flames before the dark acolytes, must have the help of a woman, and must increase his intimacy level with her by going out on dates. Along his journey, he meets a colorful class of girls to join his thing, and there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women he has to date and romanticize and crap. Very old memory, but I remember it because it was funny, because I remember a cutscene of he's trying to save one lady, and it pans over to this really old grandma that yells, "Oh, you think I'm beautiful? Save me!" And she just collides into him. Because he thought that, or she thought he was telling her that she was beautiful and he would save her. All right, now let's talk about the crux of Dream Daddy.
Yes, I have to ask very quickly. What is with your championship Dream Daddy belt, sir? I must know.
Oh, yes. This is a really fun one.
Mhm.
Okay, so just to let everyone out there know, El Penguin actually has a championship Dream Daddy belt. I'll see if I can get a picture of it and send it and show it off on Twitter when the episode gets released.
Well, it all started when he's romanticized a smart guy named Hugo, the bookworm daddy. Actually, that was this was actually a part of a cosplay thing and an inside joke in Dream Daddy, though, because so you know how usually when it comes to dating simulators, usually the trope is like, oh, you got the smart guy, the sporty guy. It's just like, yada 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 stuff like that.
Yeah, the smart person, the sporty one.
Yeah.
The
so if
sensitive.
you go, yeah. And of course, since essentially this whole game is basically playing daddy daycare, you're a dad who moves to a neighborhood, romanticizes all the other dads in the cul-de-sacs, and it's just like, wow, I'm just surrounded by dilfs everywhere. So, Hugo is a teacher, and quite the bookworm of so many things. As a matter of fact, I believe his son's name is actually Ernest Hemingway Vega.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yep, that level.
A whole-ass nerd.
Whole-ass bookity-book nerd. Which also makes it hilarious when you go into a trivia night date with him. I believe on your second date. And there was a whole lightning round that involved, like, wrestling trivia. And your character is just thinking, just like, oh, jeez, this is like, we're not going to get this. I'm with the nerd. There's no way he's going to do it. This dude gets it every single damn time on the dot. The other team did not stand a chance, even to the point where after they won, he was still offended at the host because he got the last question wrong, but he knew he got it right. Because I think it was a whole thing where just like, who was like the quickest, like the fastest championship loss in WrestleMania history. And he's just like, slams it. He's like, Kane versus Chavo Guerrero for the ECW championship. It's like, actually, no, the correct answer was Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. And it's like, no, that is not true. Okay, first after the quit too long, the kiss had to last at least 8 seconds, and Kane immediately chokes him, the guy. And it's like, and if you actually pick it enough on that, it's so great. Because, like, he's trying to just, like, not bring you home on this. But when you are able to, like, get into enough, he's like, all right, I'll show you. But don't. It's between you and me. Don't say anything. He goes inside. Okay, books. Opens the door. Wrestling memorabilia. As far as I could see. And it's like, you had your WWEs, you had your NWAs, you had your WCWs. There were some things that, I don't know, apparently from the indie leagues that people didn't hear about. Which made it really great for your third date when you go to a wrestling event.
Nice.
So when I became a cosplay, I thought, what would be a really great prop / inside joke for anyone who's ever played this game? What if he had an entire championship belt dedicated to the game?
And so I think I actually helped you find the site where you could get that custom printed, right?
Yeah, you can. There's the sites out there that you can custom print.
Oh my god, yes. Actually, I think I found this one as like United Belts. I'm just like, I'm just gonna make this like really simple because I don't want to spend a lot because it's already gonna be expensive. Because I'm spending a bunch of money on essentially a prop that's just an inside joke for a few nerds. But dang, it's great. But like, I think besides him, you also got
Joseph, Daddy. The ultra religious guy.
Oh yeah, ultra religious daddy.
Oh Joseph. Gosh, he's such a surprise because you find out that like he thinks his wife is being super slutty, but you find out that he's actually the one who's cheated. She's just out like having a good time with people while their marriage is on the rocks.
But also turns out that she constantly doesn't it look like she also drinks a lot because she knows how unstable her marriage is.
Yeah. And then there's Craig the fitness daddy.
Who was also your longtime friend back in college.
Yeah.
Who used to be known as Kickstand Cred. And now he's shredded. And every mom wants him.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I know there's 7 of them. So
it's like you in real life now.
There's Robert, the bad dad, who actually is just like... He just like gets mad if
Oh
you
my
talk
God.
during movie credits, or if you talk during movies, if you leave before the credits, and he likes to cryptid hunt. It's just that like his life is so messy because his wife left him and he's on bad terms with his kid that like he just is. He has this whole front.
He isolates himself. He has a really, really tough show, but like when you actually get down to him, and it's just like, and especially if you get down to the good ending, it's just like, you know, it's just like you find out he's really sweet deep down, and just like, you know, saying just like he's not ready for any relationship, but he'll work on himself, and it's like
Yeah,
bro, that's all we could ever ask for you.
there's is it Victor? Is the
no
emo goth daddy?
No, that's Damien.
Damien is the emo goth
Damien.
daddy who you find out works in a pet rescue and or volunteers as a pet rescue and actually works as like an assistant or like an accountant or something like that. Like
oh
super
my God,
mundane.
right? And I love this, like when you go over to his house, and it is just the biggest Addams Family aesthetic. And I think I found I'm doing rating hunting in Pokemon right now, and I just found a shiny.
Yay.
Also, you find out if you pay close attention, he is canonically trans, and he carried his son.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because I believe in that did have mentions of him having a binder or something.
I think that he's actually had top and bottom surgery, but you can actually find a photograph in the house of him pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Of pre-transition. Yeah.
That's really neat to know.
Is it Robert the one I'm thinking of?
Robert's the bad dad.
He's the one that, in order for you to progress to his,
you can't sleep with him.
You cannot sleep.
You can't sleep with him because, like, immediately when you first move in and you just go for drinks, he's pretty much the first dad you're able to sleep with.
Yeah, and if you do,
if you do that, ending. Yes.
There's also Brian, the
bear daddy,
the dad. Like you get into dad competitions with him because he's
and it's like he's essentially the whole just like if Great Job Sport was a person, it's Brian.
Yes. Oh, and also like I love when because you don't want to be outdadded, and so like one of the first encounters you have with him is basically a Pokemon battle.
It's a dad off.
He's so wholesome and sweet.
Right.
God, who else? Who was the music daddy?
Matt. That was Matt.
He's so sweet.
And that one was like, actually, I really love just like, because they also have a bunch of mini games that's like corresponding to just sort of what the dad is. So, because I love what Matt is like, you have to like, because I think he might have the most mini games out of all the dads. Because I know there was one where like he takes you to a concert on the club, and apparently he's kind of like a promoter and just sort of like helps everyone out. But he also runs a barista shop, and you help him just design a nice dad pun for banana bread.
Yeah, and also like you get to listen to vinyls with him. Oh, and they try to get high, but it's actually oregano. They like paid good money for actual oregano.
Oh yeah, they bought it from Damien's son. And I love that whole interaction too, because he just sat down there just like, you smoke pizza? It's like, this isn't weed. It's like, damn it!
That's so cute.
Again!
That's such a good game.
Oh, right. That one was really sweet. And I think I remember in Damien's you had what?
Oh, sorry, no, go ahead. You finish.
I remember that in I think in Damien's there was one thing you had to do where it's like you had to reassemble a gargoyle after you tumbled the gargoyle.
Oh yeah, I think in his garden, right?
Yeah, and actually I always really love the whole with Damien, because I think he's one of the few dads where you actually get to explore his whole house. And also a secret. And I love when you go visit his library. It's like, oh my god, it's like he has printed out butterflies. He's like, oh my god, he has this, all these poetries. He's like, what's this? And then Naruto was held down by chains. And Sasuke
you find out he reads like erotic Naruto fan fiction.
Oh no, he makes it.
Yeah,
he's like, what is this? No, personal.
Nothing. One thing I remember people were like a little bit like wary of when the game first came out is that and like I mean I can kind of see both sides, although like because it's coming from it was a Game Grumps game and or like it was published by them, but they also worked on it. Like Dan voices Robert, and they, you know, they both like worked on it and stuff. People thought that maybe it might just end up being like all slapstick and like it being the butt of the jokes and whatever. And so it's actually amazing because it's like really respectful. You can play a trans dad. You can play like a not trans dad. You can play one that's actually like transitioned or not, you know, that wears a binder or what have you. Like, it's really respectful. And then also like most of the humor is just dad jokes. And so like, and they handle it like, you have some of the dads are bisexual, or I mean, I guess most.
No, some are definitely bi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, I feel like it's kind of like some are like straight gay, but then like some are just like
it's
just like because I know like Matt used to have a wife.
Like, yeah, and I think all of them had to have had wives or girlfriends or something at some point, obviously, because they have biological children. But like, I mean, like Damien is gay because obviously. Like that's just how it is in the game. But yeah, like I think that it was really respectful because there's all different types of dads. They're not like disparaging on any of like the body types or the nationalities or anything. Like it's super respectful.
Actually, now that you're like looking at this and comparing to a lot of other games, you can like customize your character. It's one of the few where it may not have many options, but you can almost do like the full spectrum of any kind of person you can even think of for this.
Yeah, it's really neat, and I really love like how, I mean, like the biggest like like the biggest way that you fight with any of the other dads is literally you don't want to be outdadded. So like
or even go ahead.
Yeah, it's not like the humor isn't at anybody's expense. And that's like, I think is one of the best form. That's why puns, like even when people are like, oh, come on, like it's the most harmless form of humor.
Right.
And I think that's why part of what Dream Daddy did is so good is because like if it's at anybody's expense, it's at your expense, but it's mostly because like you're not in shape, so you can't keep up with Craig as much. You know, and like things like that.
Right. Actually, so Liz, have you ever played the DLCs of Dream Daddy?
I haven't. I have it on Steam, and I want to get the game on Switch, but I have not actually gone back and played the DLC stuff.
Okay, so actually, did you get play all the DLCs? And it's what I love about the DLCs is that it doesn't change anything about what happens through the story of the game. So just like whatever you do in DLCs, whatever decisions you make, doesn't matter. Just like on any of your dates.
Oh, nice.
But what I love about it is that it actually adds a lot more character and depth toward not just the dads, but how they are with each other.
Aww.
And so like there are moments where just like you get to hang out. Like I think there's one where just like you get to hang out with Craig just like outside, like running on stuff and just kind of like actually trying to keep up with him on an outside jog. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then you also see like what dads just hang out with each other. Like apparently, Hugo and Damien actually go to museums every now and then.
I love that.
And there's a whole time where just like they decide to invite you, and it's like, hey, you know, you think you might be interested, and then even looking at it, it's like this makes so much sense. It's like Hugo and Damien would totally hang out.
Yeah, and we know from even just the base game that Robert and Joseph slept together at least once.
Right, and
that's messy.
And I think it's always actually it was also really, really funny because I think there's one where they have like an entire poker game, and it's just like, okay, and just like, but just the kind of pawns everyone just bringing out to each other, and then it just comes out to the whole like high stakes thing where one person brings out like a bottle of scotch that has been unopened, just like, and another one just brings out just like, all right, this is my first deposit towards my kid's college tuition. And it's like, you can't just pick that. And it's like, yeah, but that is a really good scotch though.
I got a good hand and feeling.
And I was like, you know, this is. I feel like this is nice what personally I like in the DLC is just like it really adds just more just like character to just the people that you already love.
Honestly, I like that. What I don't like is when I need a DLC to explain my ending. Not a fan of that one.
Oh, jeez.
We don't need to.
We're not going to get into that
Mass
here.
Effect.
I didn't say it. Anywho.
And it's like DLC, sir, that's actually pay to play since I can't know the ending if I don't pay.
Final Fantasy 13 too, but anyway.
But anywho.
That's a topic for another podcast.
Another podcast.
Yeah.
That's a salt podcast. Saltcast.
Saltcast. So with that being said, that gets us a good place to wrap this up. I guess the moral for most of the games that especially that bring out that use these romantic mechanics throughout them is that they really develop storylines and plot lines for these romantic subplots for it. So if you're going to design a game, you're going to have one of these on there, make sure you put a little bit of extra work on these character creation on it because you want to have that emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're creating unique characters that stand out from each other. You don't want them to all read as the same or similar, and just make them well-rounded. Like
characters need depth.
Yeah. Also,
one of my suggestions.
Dungeon.
One of my suggestions when it comes to stuff like this, where there's so many branching paths, is don't look up walkthroughs, don't look up videos. Just go in blind and make your first instinctual choice. And then when you go through it the one time, then go look and see like what achievements, awards, secret crap you can find. That's my advice for any of these
games. My only
games.
argument is on otomes, because a lot of them, the romance happens over the course of the plot. But like, I played one called Collar X Malice last year. Super good. But the first, there's 3 routes that are available from the start. But I accidentally got on the one that is generally recommended to do third, but I got on that one first. And then when I got to a point where, so I think there's like 8 chapters or 9 chapters. And in chapter like 3 or 4, I did something that actually made it impossible for me to beat it in chapter 5 or to like move on in chapter 5. So I ended up having to completely restart the game. And then I was like, okay, how do I get to the guy? Because there's 2 people that generally you should do first and second, but it's interchangeable who you can do first and second. And I was like, how do I get on this one route? And I figured out how to get there, and then I stopped using the guide, and then I only got the good ending. And these ones, especially like these otomes, have like best ending, good ending, bad ending. And there's like multiple bad endings where you can just like die by making the wrong choice or something, but like then you just reload and it like right at that decision. And then there's like tragic ending. And there's like decisions you can make along the way that can get you any of those. And so when I first started playing that one, I got the good ending for this character, and then my friend who was playing with a guide got the best ending, and I was like, I didn't get that. What is that? And so for ones like that, I use guides for, because then I know how to get like all of the endings and all the stuff. But like in general, like, yes, like if you're playing something like Mass Effect or even like Boyfriend Dungeon, I didn't use a guide on, ones like that, definitely like go through it and see what you get and go from there. And
yeah, like I didn't use a guide for Hatoful Boyfriend, but valid points all around.
Yeah,
I've never played an otome, so I'll take it.
That's my
take your word for it.
suggestion on the otomes. My friend actually just played one called Bustafellows, which is supposed to be like one of the best ones, but whereas like in a lot of otomes, the first chapter is called the common route, and in that route is where you make decisions that determine whose route you're going to be doing. But Bustafellows, it's the first 5 chapters are the common route, and then there's the last 2 chapters are for the romance or for that character. And so like that one is a little bit more forgiving to go blind and just see who it is.
There you go, boys and girls.
All right. So with that, we're going to be wrapping this episode up. And our next episode will be released as we'll be back on our regular podcasting schedule. So first and third Friday of the month. So our next episode will be coming out on February 17th. And I haven't figured out which one I'm going to do there. But after that, we'll be in March. And to celebrate our first a full year of being in the podcast, we'll be doing the season finale on that, which is a large podcast I've been working on over the course of the year.
Yes.
And things have happened. I've had to change it a couple times, but that will be a fun little breakdown for that. Until next time, Thank you, everybody, for listening. And this is Gaming Theater Podcast, logging out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Gaming Theater Podcast is hosted, created, produced, and edited by Leo Garcia, the Geek Scorpio. Our music is A Drinking Game. Stock media provided by Stormwave Audio /Pond5. Our cover art is by Adam Parker. You can find him at ParkerGFX on Twitter. If you want to send us some financial support to help with producing things for Gaming Theater, you can do so at patreon.com/gamingtheaterpresents. It helps us out. Want to send support that doesn't hit your wallet? Please leave a review with wherever you hear your podcasts and share our podcast with your friends. It really helps out. Thank you for listening.